Here's what's coming up on your horizon. We'll talk about irony. It was exactly 40 years ago. Americans were stuck in long gas lines, and President Jimmy Carter was advising us to put on a sweater because America was facing an energy crisis. Today, we look at the resurgence in domestic energy production, homegrown fuels like oil and gas that are changing the conversation from one of shortages to abundance. Stay with us as we look at America's energy revolution.
Oklahoma Horizon is made possible by the Oklahoma Department of Career and Technology Education.
Oklahoma's investment in Career Tech provides more than nationally recognized technology education and training. It produces solid financial returns for the state's economic future. Oklahoma Career Tech, elevating our economy.
And the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food, and Forestry, helping good people grow good things. And now, from the Career Tech Studios in Stillwater, here's your host, Rob McClendon.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on Horizon. Well, when energy executives gathered in Tulsa this month for the Governor's Conference on Energy, what you heard was an optimism of unrivaled proportion. There is a power surge underway in this country, and the benefits, they are abundant. Amazing new drilling technologies are finding oil and gas in new ways and in new places previously unimaginable. And worries over energy scarcity have turned into enthusiasm over our domestic energy abundance, with Oklahoma at the forefront. There's a lot to brag about when it comes to Oklahoma's many energy resources.
So Oklahoma's energy mix of energy resources are diverse, which leads our state to be more competitive and also, frankly, be more business-friendly, more business competitive.
From the podium in front of energy executives from around the country, Governor Fallin says an all-of-the-above energy strategy is working well for the state.
And by the way, the world is actually taking notice of that. In fact, last year, the Fraser Institute released its Global Petroleum Survey and named Oklahoma as the best place in the world for energy investments. Did you hear me? Oklahoma as the best place in the world for energy investments. For all you out-of-state companies, I hope you heard what I just said. It's a great place to invest.
Governor Fallin was one of several speakers to take the mic, all with a similar message. American energy production is back in a big way. In September, domestic oil production hit 7.75 million barrels of oil a day, a pace that, if sustained, would make our country energy self-sufficient in a little over 20 years. Ray Gonzalez is with Oklahoma City-based Continental Resources.
We're going through an amazing energy renaissance in this country. If you think about it, just 5 years ago, we were importing 60% of our liquid needs into the U.S. Now we're only importing about 40%. And so how's that possible? It's through technology. So the oil industry, most people don't understand that. It's a very high technology industry. So if you think about horizontal drilling, that's really what's enabled us to really build on this energy renaissance. So think about someone taking a jump shot in basketball and hitting a shot from 4 miles away, okay? That's pretty impressive. Well, that's what we're doing in essence. So we're drilling down about 2 miles and then drilling across about 2 miles using a drill bit about the size of a basketball hoop. So you can see, technology-wise, it's really a fun industry, okay? So what does this all mean? It's creating jobs, okay? So the U.S. right now, about 10% of all jobs created last year were in the oil industry.
And nowhere faster than in North Dakota. Jack Dalrymple is governor of the state and says 2 innovations, both invented here in the U.S., has transformed their economy.
North Dakota is a great example of what a difference a technological breakthrough can make. In a span of just a few years, we have gone from 9th in the nation in oil production to 2nd in the nation, only to Texas. And it's entirely due to the technology of being able to drill horizontally and fracture shale rock with hydraulics. And that simple fact has basically led to an oil boom, you know, like the olden days.
And truly unprecedented.
I think it's a whole new paradigm that we can actually consider the possibility of energy independence in North America. And I say North America because I think we need to include our Canadian neighbors in the picture. But, you know, for most of my life, you know, that notion was out the window. I mean, it was long gone. We had accepted the fact that we were totally dependent on imports for our energy. And, you know, it has had huge implications in our foreign policy. It's obvious that, you know, the cost of protecting our interests around the world have been huge. We're literally in the trillions of dollars. And now suddenly we have an opportunity to supply our own energy and then I think, you know, reconsider the whole way that we look at the world situation.
But such success does come with its own set of challenges. A North Dakota pipeline rupture sent over 20,000 barrels of crude oil gushing across a farmer's wheat field, a cleanup that will cost in the millions and take years to complete. And while such accidents are detrimental, it is the industry's success in extracting hydrocarbons from beneath us that scares some scientists. A number of independent studies suggest that the world needs to stop emitting carbon dioxide by mid-century or risk serious climate change.
If we continue with our business as usual with our current pattern of fossil fuel emissions, we'll be there in a matter of decades.
Michael E. Mann is a Nobel Prize-winning climate scientist.
So if we're going to avoid crossing that threshold, we need to begin reducing our emissions fairly quickly. If we cross that threshold, many scientists who look at the impacts of climate change say that's where we really commit to some of the most damaging impacts of climate change. Far worse drought here in Oklahoma and heat here in Oklahoma than anything we've seen before.
Yet Mann says greenhouse gas emissions have begun to decline, thanks in part to new discoveries of cleaner burning natural gas.
Part of that transition may involve moving from a reliance on coal, which has a pretty heavy carbon footprint, to natural gas, which it turns out has about half the carbon footprint. So for every watt of power that you get out of natural gas, you're putting half as much CO2 into the atmosphere as if you're burning coal. And that's a significant improvement. In fact, it may be part of why we saw last year that there was actually a drop in U.S. Fossil fuel emissions, U.S. CO2 production.
From 2006 to 2012, U.S. production of natural gas grew by 30%, a growth that sent prices plummeting and usage up. In 2007, electric generation from coal-fired plants was at 50%. Today, that's dropped to 37%. A shift to cleaner burning fuel you can also see at the pumps. Per capita, Oklahoma has more CNG fueling stations than anywhere in the nation. With natural gas less than $1 a gallon, CNG vehicles do cost a bit more to purchase, but are less expensive to operate. An economic move that is environmentally friendly as well.
It's very difficult to talk about an energy issue that doesn't have an environmental component. And you can flip your hands around and run the other way around, and it's very difficult to talk about an environmental issue that doesn't have an energy component, especially in the state of Oklahoma. In your own frame.
Michael Teague is Oklahoma's Secretary of Energy and the Environment and says the state has energy options that rival anywhere in the world.
Oklahoma's been blessed with tremendous natural resources. You know, one of the brightest spots for wind energy sits out here in the Panhandle. Obviously, the oil and gas that's been prevalent in this state for so long is such a huge piece of not just the economy, but the culture of this state. If you start with the resources, and the phrase that Governor Fallin uses is all the above. It is all of those resources. You have to bring all of those resources to bear. And then the question is, what do you do with them? And so that gets into the power generation. And so I think you need that diversification across all your power generation as well. And certainly there's great potential for wind and natural gas to be so complementary as you go forward.
Well, Oklahoma has long been pro-energy, and increasingly so is America. If you will, take a look at this. When you add up the green and the orange portions of this pie chart, 80% of Americans believe our government should expand the exploration of U.S.-based oil and gas reserves to lessen dependence on foreign oil, while 10% are neutral and only another 10% are against any expansion at all. But in the same poll conducted by Esquire magazine, the survey group also supports the government taxing industries that produce carbon emissions to help reduce pollution. Now, 76% feel strongly or somewhat strongly we should tax industries for their carbon footprint. Now, 13% are neutral on the issue, while just 11% oppose a carbon tax. So what is our takeaway? Well, it is this. While Americans are all for the new domestic energy sources, they want them to be safe and to not harm the environment. When we return, I sit down with Governor Mary Fallin to talk energy.
You're watching Oklahoma Horizon, featuring some of the good things that are happening in the great state of Oklahoma.
Well, 1 in 7 Oklahomans either works for an energy company or in a job that supports the industry. Energy is a cornerstone of our economy, providing taxes that regularly come in the millions of dollars, supporting everything from schools to bridges. In 2011, Governor Mary Fallin presented her Oklahoma First Energy Plan, a vision that includes responsible regulations, renewable energy goals, and an aggressive multi-state initiative to increase the use of compressed natural gas. And I sat down with the governor to talk about all of the above. Madam Governor, do you find it ironic that 40 years ago we were sitting in lines at gas stations because of the OPEC oil embargo? And today, we really have this energy revolution.
We do have an energy revolution, and it is quite remarkable for our nation. And it's good for our nation. It's good for our economy. It's good for, frankly, our national security, especially as you look at what's going on around the world in various countries with Russia and Syria and the Middle East. But it's good for our state. It's good for job creation. It's great for our revenue streams in Oklahoma and employing our Oklahoma families. So it is remarkable how far we've come in the last 40 years, and it's because of technology. It's because of innovation. It's because of many of our Oklahoma companies that have been national and even international leaders when it comes to utilizing new processes like horizontal drilling or hydraulic fracturing.
And the impact that we see right now from the energy industry really affects all Oklahomans, whether they work in the energy industry or not.
Well, we all benefit from having a very strong, robust energy sector in our state. Whether you're working directly in the energy sector or whether you're being able to benefit from the direct results or even the indirect results of the trickle-down effect that the energy sector has upon our economy. You know, the businesses benefit from a strong, vibrant energy sector. Certainly home builders, residential areas, the commercial real estate, the restaurants, shopping, I mean, all of our sales tax collections, all those things benefit from a vibrant, strong energy climate.
Now, we've seen the boom and bust cycles in the energy industry, but many people believe that technology is going to keep some of that from being so dramatic. But what do we need to do as a state to make our energy jobs more sustainable?
Well, we do want to make sure that we are able to sustain the tremendous growth and make sure it's long-term sustainability in the energy sector. And having fair regulatory policy is very, very important. Having the right business climate, making sure that we're a great place to invest for the energy sector, but yet also be able to reap the rewards for our citizens in our state and our taxpayers by the revenue that it generates. That's important, but I do think with the new technology that has come online, we're able to produce some of the shale plays, some of the formations that we thought had seen their last days. But because of that, even over the last decade, we've seen some tremendous new areas in the state of Oklahoma that we thought had already reached their maximum production and had gone by the wayside, but now the technology is bringing them back.
Now, Oklahoma is leading the way in using compressed natural gas, and I know you challenged all the state's governors to try to use more natural gas in transportation. First of all, how's the nation doing, and how are we doing here in the state?
Well, one of our great resources in Oklahoma, and certainly throughout the nation, and one of the great discoveries because of technology has been the amount of natural gas that we have, not only in Oklahoma but throughout the nation. We have well over 100 years supply of natural gas, as estimated by the professionals. And so we think it's a great way to be able to diversify our transportation fuels in our nation, and certainly within the state of Oklahoma. And so I've worked with other states, now 23 states, and other governors, both Republican and Democrat governors, to encourage them to look at diversifying our fuels utilized in the transportation sector with our cars and our vehicles, and just our commercial way that we deliver goods to the marketplaces by utilizing compressed natural gas. And so we began a process of buying CNG vehicles, CNG trucks, and integrating them into our state cars, our state fleets that the state of Oklahoma utilizes, and so have 23 other states. And the result of that will be that we'll be utilizing an American-made source of energy, a clean source of energy, one that is more affordable. In fact, a couple weeks ago I was in Norman, Oklahoma, and CNG was selling for 78 cents a gallon,
wow,
which is a tremendous saving for the taxpayers in our state.
Governor Mary Fallin, thanks so much for your insights and your time.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming to our energy conference.
Still to come on Oklahoma Horizon, creating a workforce for the energy industry. But first, pipeline security.
Well, by the start of the new year, 700,000 barrels of crude oil could be flowing through TransCanada's Gulf Coast pipeline from Cushing to Gulf Coast refineries. Now, the Gulf Coast pipeline is often confused with TransCanada's Keystone XL pipeline, which is still pending approval by the President. In 2012, President Barack Obama visited Cushing and urged construction of the pipeline's 485-mile southern portion from Cushing to Port Arthur, Texas, but has yet to give his okay for the pipeline to cross the U.S.-Canada border. Now, Obama faces pressure from several environmental groups to either deny or continue studying the pipeline's environmental impact. Now, earlier this month, a federal court in Denver upheld a lower court's ruling that refused to stop construction because of those environmental concerns. Well, if there is a positive to the debate over the construction of the Keystone XL pipeline, it is this: public awareness. Pipelines are integral to the movement of oil and gas to both industry and consumers. More than 2 million miles of pipeline already crisscross the United States. Yet earlier this year, cyber spies linked to China's military targeted nearly 24 U.S. natural gas pipeline operators, stealing information that could be used to sabotage them. Now, natural gas pipelines are crucial to national security, which is why Central Tech in Drumright is training energy workers in pipeline security. Joining me now is our Lisa Hines.
Well, Rob, take a look at this map of the continental U.S. Every one of these red and blue lines is a pipeline, 2.3 million miles to be exact, each serving as an artery in our nation's energy infrastructure, and many vulnerable to attack.
Then we get into the attack phase.
For Chris Gear, learning how cyber attacks occur helps him keep his company secure.
It gives me a better understanding of network security and firewalls. As a controls guy, my focus is making things talk, and it's a different way of looking at things and putting steps in to keep things from talking. Central Tech is teaching us the process that hackers would use to break into a system like ours, the technology that they would use, and the safeguards that we can implement to protect against those attacks.
And according to instructor Clint Webb, training is crucial.
Really, the most important thing about the training that we provide here in SCADA security is that the United States' critical infrastructure is constantly being reviewed, not only internally but also by external sources. It's always a problem, and if anyone wants to disrupt our economy, our political landscape, just day-to-day operations, then a cyber attack against our critical infrastructure would be one of those methods.
Infrastructure that for oil companies can be close or far away.
Some of these remote sites are very remote in rural areas. It takes a long time to get to them, and technicians have a large region. So if we're protecting those, but we can still remotely access them, then that makes it better for the company and for the technicians. So by reviewing those logs of what's happened and then evaluating what we need to do, students can learn that these are the threats, these are the vulnerabilities, and this is what we can do to help mitigate those risks.
So by training those who watch our backs to prevent cyber attacks, keeps our pipelines flowing along.
Want to share something you've seen here today? Well, all of our episodes are streaming on our YouTube channel at Oklahoma Horizon TV, or you can subscribe to our weekly free podcasts on iTunes. Well, the boom and bust cycles America's energy industry has struggled with in past decades is creating a challenge even today, a workforce gap. During the downturn of the 1980s, many left the industry for employment elsewhere, and those that stayed are getting close to retirement age. Once again, Ray Gonzalez with Oklahoma City-based Continental Resources.
It's just a huge opportunity when you think about, I think I read where there's about 82,000 employees in the energy industry in Oklahoma, and about half of those are between the ages of 50 and 60. So what that creates is just tremendous opportunity for someone young to come in, learn from these folks, because they'll be gone in the next 10 years, and that gives you opportunities to come in and really grow with the company and advance rather quickly if you're competent to do that.
Including an educational panel featuring 2 college presidents and Oklahoma Secretary of Education and Workforce Development, Robert Summers, who joins me now in studio. Well, I was struck by the fact that there was executive after executive that came up to the podium and talked about the need for workforce in the energy industry. So my question is, what are we doing and what do we need to be doing?
Well, first of all, it's the right topic because after all the technology is put in place and we do the research, it comes down to people. We have to have human beings that work hard to make sure that the energy industry survives. We're doing really 3 big things in the lower grades, especially in middle school, 8th grade, high school. We're really ramping up our effort to make sure that young people and adults for that matter know that there are jobs in the field and that they're exciting and they're high tech. The other is the tech centers are working very hard on very specific skills, everything from cybersecurity to well operations to high-tech arrangements all along the line. So we're actually developing the skill sets, and we're trying to make it a seamless pipeline into higher education for the jobs that require more advanced degrees.
And I want to hit on that. I just saw a study that said that petroleum engineers were the highest paid of all college graduates with a bachelor's degree at $120K a year, so $120,000 a year. How soon does career development need to start to get someone to that position?
Yeah, everybody thinks that colleges are where it all happens. Actually, it starts way back in the elementary grades. We got to get the academics right, but we also have to get something else right. We have to get and find young people's passions and purpose in life. We've got to introduce them to the whole energy field, whether it be oil, wind, solar. We've got to get them excited about the opportunities in those fields. So then they study hard because they understand why they need to know math and science. They study technology, they become more talented. They move through high school and they actually complete high school, which is a challenge sometimes. And once we get them going and they have an industry credential, they make some money, then higher education happens, and those baccalaureate degrees making $120,000, they're the cream on the crop at the end.
You know, and you talk about trying to get them into college, but I also want to talk about the people that maybe we forget about sometimes and that maybe slip through the cracks. Is there a place for them?
Oh, absolutely. And there's a couple of things. One is we've spent a lot of time in American education sterilizing our K-12 down to academics, thinking that that would improve academics and lead to more college people going to college and college graduates. That just simply hasn't happened because we need to connect young people to the field, the energy field and a lot of other fields, give them a chance to really explore and do exciting things. The academics get better, especially for young men. We've found that a lot of boys are leaving school before they even get to high school. So we got to tighten that pipeline up. You know, we have oil spills in the oil fields, in the pipelines. Well, we have a human spill in our educational pipeline, and we're trying to tighten that up, engage in career technical education, which leads to industry credentials, which really lead to no debt, baccalaureate, master's, PhDs over the long term.
All right, thank you so much. Robert Summers, Secretary of Education and Workforce Development, as well as the Director of Oklahoma Career Tech. Next time on Oklahoma Horizon, despite record rains for parts of the state, some areas are still suffering from a record drought. Dealing with drought on Oklahoma's show for the Heartland, Oklahoma Horizon. Well, that is going to wrap us up for today, but you can see more of any of our stories on our website at okhorizon.com. You can watch us on the go with our weekly podcasts on iTunes. Follow us throughout the week on Twitter at OKHorizonTV, or just become a Horizon fan on Facebook. I'm Rob McClendon. Thanks for watching. See you back here next time.